All right, let's talk crypto. It's this amazing decentralized world, right? Full of promise, but there's this shadow lurking in the corner. A really nasty one that we got to talk about. The pump and dump scam.
Okay, look at this. Minus 90%. That's not just some abstract number. That's your money. Gone. We're talking hours, sometimes even minutes, if you get caught in one of these traps. It's brutal.
So the big question is, how on earth do scammers pull this off? And, more importantly, how can you see it coming before you get wrecked? Well, that's exactly what we're going to do today. We're going to tear apart their playbook.
All right, first up, the scammer's playbook. Look, if you want to beat them, you got to know how they think. These things follow a pattern, and once you see it, it's like a light bulb goes on. You can't unsee it.
So what is a pump and dump? At its heart, it's just pure manipulation. But forget what you think you know. We're not talking about some old-school scam from a dark corner of the internet. Oh no. These days, scammers are using everything. Social media bots, viral memes, even AI influencers to cook up hype that feels so real.
And they almost always follow the exact same 4 steps. Phase 1 is accumulation. It's quiet. The scammers are buying up cheap tokens. Then Phase 2, hype and mobilization. This is where they go loud. They blast social media, create that FOMO, that fear of missing out. That leads right into Phase 3, the price pump, where all that hype brings in everyday traders, pushing the price to the moon. And that's the setup for the final act, the exit and dump. They sell everything, the price crashes, and they walk away with the profits, leaving everyone else with worthless tokens.
Okay, that's the theory. But let's make it real. Let's look at the anatomy of a real crash. A perfect and, brutal example of this playbook in action. The story of the HX token.
Get this. At its peak, this token hit a market cap of almost $500 million. 500 million. Can you imagine the hype? It was everywhere. It felt like the one, the token that was going to make everyone rich. And here's how it played out. It exploded thanks to memes and influencer hype, and then, boom, it crashed over 90% in just a few hours. But the real smoking gun? It's right there in the data. When people dug into the blockchain, they found almost all the trading volume, all that action, came from a tiny, coordinated group of wallets. It wasn't organic growth. It wasn't a community. It was a setup from the start.
So how does this happen over and over again? What's the core problem here? It all comes down to one simple idea: information asymmetry. It's a fancy term for a simple truth. The scammers know a lot more than you do. Think about it like this. There are 2 different worlds. In one world, the insiders are looking at the real data. They see the on-chain signals, the coordinated buys, the accumulation happening before anyone else. But in the other world, the one most of us live in, all we see is the noise. We see the influencer hype, the 100x guaranteed posts, and a price chart that's just going vertical. We're not even playing the same game. It's like they have the cheat codes.
But, and this is a big but, here's where things get interesting. The very same data they use to set the trap, you can use it to see the trap coming. This is how we fight back. This is the counteroffensive. It's all about using data to level the playing field.
Okay, tool number 1, smart money and insider tracking. This is huge. It's basically like having a spy that follows the pros. You can literally watch the wallets of big, successful traders and even known scammers to see what they're doing in real time. And what does this show you? Well, it cuts right through all that social media noise. You can spot wallets that are secretly loading up on a token before the hype even starts. You can see when a bunch of wallets are all buying at the same time. That's a massive red flag for a coordinated pump. And maybe the best part? It can catch wallets from previous scams that are trying to pull the same trick twice. It's an incredible early warning system.
All right, tool number 2, liquidity rotation heat maps. This is the next level. If tracking wallets is like watching the players, this is like watching the ball. You're not just seeing what people are doing, you're seeing where the actual money is flowing in real time.
And why is this so powerful? Because it lets you get ahead of the curve. Instead of just reacting to hype you saw on Twitter, you can see which tokens are actually losing steam. You can see where the big players, the whales, are moving their cash before a new narrative takes off. You're anticipating, not just reacting.
And that brings us to our third tool, and this one is a lifesaver. It's called contract risk analysis. It might sound technical, but the idea is simple. Every crypto token is just a piece of code, a smart contract. This tool is like running a virus scan on that code to find any hidden traps the creators might have built in.
And believe me, you want to run this scan, because it can find stuff that's totally invisible otherwise. We're talking about nasty little tricks, like a secret function that lets the creator mint a billion new tokens whenever they want, making yours worthless. Or even worse, honeypot code, where they let you buy in, but the code literally prevents you from selling. It's a one-way street for your money. These are just digital booby traps.
And this stuff works in the real world. There's this great example of a so-called eco-friendly meme coin. It sounded great, right? But a contract audit found a hidden function that would let the devs print endless tokens. It flagged it as high risk, and the people who listened to that warning got out just hours before the dump. They saved themselves from exactly that 90% loss we saw at the very beginning.
So let's pull all this together. It really paints a clear picture, doesn't it? The only real defense you have is a data-driven one. It's about making a mental shift. Stop looking at the hype and start looking at the real signals underneath.
But this raises a really big question, right? If all these red flags exist, and the tools are out there, why do people still fall for these things? It really comes down to two things: psychology and pure blistering speed. There are three big reasons. First, let's be honest, hype works. That feeling of FOMO, of missing out on the next big thing, it's like a drug. It can completely shut down the logical part of your brain. Second, there's that information asymmetry again. The vast majority of people just don't have access to these tools, so they're trading in the dark. And finally, speed. These scams happen so fast. The whole cycle, from pump to dump, can be over in minutes. By the time you even suspect something's wrong, it's already too late.
So look, if there is one single thing you take away from all of this, let it be this quote: "Don't just trade the hype, trade the signals." The hype, that's the illusion. That's the part that's designed to trick you. The signals, the real on-chain data, that's the reality. That's where you find the truth.
And that really leaves us with one final thought. A question for you. We live in a world that is just full of digital noise. It's getting louder every single day. So the most important question you have to ask yourself is, which signals are you going to choose to trust?